Right, hello, and welcome back to 60 Second Gamer. The bad smell under your bed that you just can't get rid of, I'm back.
It's a dead mouse.
It could be a dead mouse, or it could just be me, lurking under your bed.
Going.
Oh.
I am, of course, Mr. Richard Hatton.
I did wonder what the noises were.
Yeah,
And the smell of decay.
it's my flesh. Yes, we're back, 60 Second Gamer. My name's Richard Hatton, as I said. In with me tonight. Sat
But
on
not in
all-
bed.
In
Not in bed.
in
with
with
the
me
bed
tonight.
with me tonight.
Joining me under the bed is sat all on his own because he doesn't play football. It's Mr. Tremaine.
Hey,
And fellow FIFA fanatic,
Oh, he's on fire tonight.
it's Mr. Simon Fryer.
Hello.
And as you may have meant,
put your teeth back in.
oh well.
Stop club singing.
And as you may already have noticed, I mentioned FIFA, and that's the point of us being here tonight.
Yeah,
is
well,
to talk about the new FIFA game.
they'll have understood that from the fact that the podcast title will say FIFA 11.
The point of you two being
Your mum.
here. The point of me being here is just to plan the next podcast.
Yes.
Because
So-
I don't play any football unless it's piss-taking football.
No, Ant's not very good at football, and he has no interest in it regardless.
Not real football, anyway.
No,
I couldn't-
Italia 90 is fine, but
Yeah.
everything else.
Best football game ever. And Red Card is slowly
Slowly
ranking
worming
its way up
yeah.
towards it as well.
Like that tapeworm in your intestine.
Yes.
But without the unpleasant medical side effects. So we assume.
Yes. So yeah, we're here to talk about FIFA 11, obviously.
I've killed him.
You have. He's gone. It was out in
Oh, October. Start of the month.
October. So yeah, it's fairly recent, which is why we're doing it.
Actually, no, wasn't it September?
No, it was October. The
October?
very 1st of October, I do believe.
It must have been start of October.
Yes, I can see the 1st of October from here is a Friday, and that's always new release
Yes.
game day. But anyway, we're here to talk about the FIFA 11.
Yes.
And it's many improvements on FIFA 10, as
Yeah,
well as some negativity.
I was really surprised by it because I downloaded the demo for FIFA 11. I had absolutely no intention of buying FIFA 11. Played the demo and thought, actually, maybe I should.
Yeah.
So I did. And Tesco had an offer on, so I got Red Dead Redemption as well. So
It's always a good.
bargain.
2 very good games for the price of a mere bag of cats.
Mom. Yes, okay.
I'm not going to argue with that.
No. There's not really a story mode to FIFA.
No.
Unless you're doing the Beer Pro, or as it's now known, Virtual Pro. It's not Beer Pro anymore.
Be a pro or career mode where you can be a player or be a player manager.
Or a manager.
Yeah.
Indeed. They've gone all out this year with a full-on transfer system and all sorts of jazz.
the new mode, be a goalkeeper.
Be a goalkeeper.
Which, if you watch the video on YouTube, you'll see the fact that we mock that ever so slightly. Because,
Yes.
it's a lonely life.
It can be a lonely life as a goalkeeper, but inevitably you are the one to take the fall should the shit hit the fan.
We're looking at you, Robert Green.
Yes,
Is that the one who
with
missed
our
the England goal?
with our
The one
disgusting
that just sort of let it
eyes.
bobble in.
I've dropped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Butterfingers.
As with every new FIFA game, there are obviously rafts of improvements.
Yep.
It's
Quite subtle upgrades this year, I think.
It is the
comparatively speaking.
one thing that I.
It's been like the gap between FIFA 09 and FIFA 10.
That was big, but I think FIFA 11 is more of a
It's refinement.
refinement than evolution.
Hang on,
Um,
FIFA 11.
Yeah.
A year ahead.
It comes out at the end of 10. It's out for most of
It's
11.
out for the new season, which is why it's FIFA 11, because the football season is 2010-11 now.
Yeah.
Whereas this time next year, it would be
All the-
2011, 2012.
The thing that irritates me, not so much with FIFA, because FIFA comes out towards the end of end of the year that of the previous year that it's numbering, but the likes of Tiger Woods are out in the summer, so like July time, and that is still Tiger Woods 11. I don't get the numbering scheme for that.
EA, we've got your number. We will be phoning you.
That means
Aside,
nothing to me.
we won't.
But yeah, there's a raft of very small improvements and refinements, as we said.
Yep.
The biggest one I think is the Personality Plus mode.
Yeah, that's really jazzed the game up. I think if you play one of the high profile teams, it feels more realistic in that players like Carlos Tevez and Sean Wright Phillips. I can only speak from Manchester City because that's the only team I've played as so far. Note, I do not support Manchester City. I support no team whatsoever, so I have no affiliation. Now that disclaimer's out the way. Carlos Tevez and Sean Wright Phillips, when they sprint with the ball, if they've got a clear run, then they're going to leave the defence behind. That sort of thing with the Personality Plus attributes, I think, really adds something to the game. I mean,
I know that one thing I have noticed with speed players, I'm talking not just about Tevez and Wright Phillips, as a Birmingham City fan myself, playing as Cameron Jerome. He's not a slow coach, I'll say, but the defenders can cling on to you, and it does make it a bit more difficult to break away if you're being harassed by a defender.
Yeah.
Which can infuriate.
Just get your pepper spray out, report him to the police, and job done.
Yeah. But yeah, Personality Plus is obviously meant to mimic the personalities, as we said, of the big players. So you get your players like your Wayne Rooney's, who will be hustling you wherever you are on the pitch to get the ball back.
Sleeping with old women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Put me right off.
He's the Wayne Rooney is the exception to the football rule because it's usually some like a hooker or something, and Wayne Rooney's after your grandmother. Weird.
Yeah. And then you've got obviously your Steven Gerrards, who will harass you in midfield. Your Frank Lampards, who are going to be good at shooting from long range. Your Birmingham Cities, dribblers. You got your Birmingham Cities, who are just very, very average.
Not as average as maybe one of the lower leagues.
No, but
they'd be technically below average. So I'll ignore me. It's fine.
My point is made that Birmingham aren't particularly good in this game. A bit like real life, really. They have their moments, but they're few and far between.
Yes.
The one other thing I've also got a slight gripe with is the new passing system.
It has its moments.
I don't know.
Even my thing with it, even if you're pointing let's say you're pointing left with the left analog stick, you're pointing left with that. You press the button to pass it, and it'll still pass it to the chap who's either down or behind you.
Yeah, and more often than not to someone who's being
marked. It's
marked.
not supposed to do that anymore. Apparently. Yeah. Usually just to the opposition.
Yeah.
So there you go, have the ball.
It's got this new little power bar which builds up and has a little triangle. I don't quite fully understand what the whole point of this little triangle. I think it's to be like the perfect pass, I suppose. So you build up this little power bar and let go of it to pass the ball. But I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm playing as Blues and they're a bit shit at passing. But more often than not, I find that I'm fighting a losing battle in midfield, whereby I'm constantly just pressing this pass button and it's just going straight to the opposition because the passes are underhit or they're overhit. And for a Premier League side, I don't really think that's a fully representative.
No, like Blues in real life are better than they're represented in the game.
Yeah, I think it's something that I congratulate EA for having a stab at, but work on it for FIFA 12.
By FIFA 12, I'll probably be thinking about same as I was this year. Oh, I won't buy that. Oh, the demo's good.
Yeah.
Probably just go like that. So, oh, I've got FIFA 12. How many times have I played FIFA 11 this year? 3 times. Oh, I'll buy it anyway. It's fine.
Anyway, yeah. One other thing that not one other thing. Just ignore that. Chop that bit out.
Okay.
Moving on to the graphics side of the game, I've got to give a big thumbs up. They've obviously put a lot of effort into making players look a little bit more realistic as opposed to just some sort of freaky waxwork look-alike.
Although the audience all have no faces.
Yes, one thing we did notice.
The crowd are still very low res, but
when you're
not an issue.
No, I mean when you're
not really looking at the audience.
No, you're not. When you in the meat and potatoes of the game, the crowd is probably the last thing that you're going to be really bothered about. But I will say this about FIFA is that the lower league teams, so like your Accrington Stanleys and your
Preston North Ends,
you're going to have Gennaro man number 4 representing, I don't know, your best known
England.
player. No, not representing England.
That'd be a turn up for the books.
But yeah, but even in referring back to Birmingham's case again, even though I keep harking on about it, the players still don't look spot on, and I don't know what it is. My biggest,
I think it's the big bucks players that they focus on, and then the rest of the players they sort of model them.
It's
here and there.
quite annoying because you
Lower
look at
quality.
someone like Sebastian Larsson who plays for Blues out on the wing, and even in Pro Evolution, probably Pro Evo 6, they had the likeness of Sebastian Larsson pretty much spot on, and that was something that I thought they'd improve upon this year, but they really haven't, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Because not everyone is a Man U, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal's fan.
Nope.
I support my local team because that's just the way I am.
You're not that local.
Well, it's Birmingham.
Up
It's
the
local
road.
enough.
If you support your local team, it'd be Redditch.
Yes, but they're not in the game, are they?
No.
That doesn't quite go down to Blue
They're
Square
in Football
Conference.
Manager.
Yeah, but yeah, every team in the world's
Yeah.
in Football Manager though. So yeah, I mean, that's something that EA could probably work on. I mean, Pro Evo obviously worked quite hard on nailing player lookalikes, and they've got the fifth Pro license. So pull your finger out, EA. Let's get some more of these lower known teams.
Yeah.
A bit more recognised because I'm sick to death of playing as Birmingham and Barry Ferguson having spiky black hair, and that's pretty much the only thing you could recognise him by.
Nah. one thing that I am not overly keen on with the game, and that sort of winds me up on occasion, is every now and again the slight lag. So it's like they've put that much information on the disc that it's sort of reached the point now. Especially they did it in FIFA 10 as well.
Oh, the
Where
slowdown.
you sort of the game starts, and then there's sort of juddery bits,
Yeah.
and then it picks up, and sort of stuff like that. I mean, it shouldn't really be happening at this stage. I mean, it was fine for years, and it never really happened. And then the more they sort of try and cram into the game, the more awkward the slowdown is.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually affect the gameplay itself, or not that I've noticed so far, but just
No,
the fact
it's-
that
I think I find it's more noticeable on replays.
yeah.
The action seems to suffer quite a fair bit, and it's, as I say, disappointing.
That's the big letdown for me. It sort of reduces what should be pretty much nearly spot on interpretation of the beautiful game.
Indeed. We've touched on this already, about the modes of play. We've mentioned your Virtual Pro mode.
Yep.
Where you take your brand new player, you can create, or pick a person from a team and
And players
them, and you take them through as a player, or you can be a player manager,
Yep.
or
Always
just
be the
go
manager.
just go straight in at the manager side, which offers a lot more. I've had a quick look at it. We had a quick peek at it in the review. Offers a lot more variety than it did in FIFA 11. The transfer system has been vastly improved.
Again, there's still a lot of slowdown on that.
Yeah,
A lot of loading in the manager mode, which again, if you're just trying to play a quick couple of games before you've got to go out somewhere, it takes you a good 40-45 minutes to get a couple of games played. Depending
Whereas-
on obviously how many minutes per half you go.
I mean, we're
through,
not
but-
expecting Football Manager levels of realism.
No, I
but
just want it to be a bit faster.
Yeah, I think if you're selected to play as the Premier League team, just so we say, I keep using Blues as an example.
Yeah.
Then you'd expect it to be the main focus would be on the Premier League. You don't want to know what's happening in the lower divisions massively. Be nice to know, but your focus really is solely on your team.
The thing about Football Manager can deal with that amount of processing because it is essentially just a big database with a game skin put over the top of it. Whereas FIFA, the emphasis is on playing games. So to have to sit through that amount of loading time just to play a couple of matches, it's a little bit annoying, but it's not enough to put me off from playing it.
No, I mean I'll probably play the be a virtual pro side of it just to be a player.
Don't be a goalkeeper.
No, being a goalkeeper is I applaud their inclusion.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's
you can have proper 11 against 11 online.
Yeah, I can imagine that can only lead to hilarity.
I mean, my I did read somewhere about the goalkeeper mode, in that it's the equivalent of being picked for the positions at school.
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
the last person picked is the goalie. So, like, you know, the most unpopular kid goes in goal, which I experienced at school. And I'll tell you something: the football idiots, as I will call them, they didn't like it when you didn't try and stop the ball.
And they also didn't like it because I also experienced this when you actually did try and then denied them a clear-cut opportunity.
Yeah.
With a brilliant post save where you flick the ball around the post. They don't like that.
No, they don't.
Because
Like
you're not meant. You're not meant to be as good as them.
No.
I just never took my kit to school with me, so I never played football. And
you
even
took
when
the
I
cowards
did,
where you man.
even when I did, I was always the other person that when the ball went one end, I was running in the opposite direction, so I didn't have to do any like playing. I did that in basketball the once.
We one thing we did. I mean, this is nothing to do with the game whatsoever. But one thing me and a mate did at school, we were playing on half pitch. So there's one full-sized football pitch and a game going on each half, sort of like from touchline to touchline. And we were playing on separate pitches, and we'd both been put in goal for our respective teams. And we were both there because the goal posts we had were flags. So
no expense spared in high schools.
So we had these little flags, and rather than pay attention to our game, we were just sort of like holding the flags up as if we were on the moon. Pretending we were on the moon, saluting and stuff. It was ridiculous.
We didn't actually even have flags. We had like little, you know, the little cone.
The little cones,
things
yeah.
that they put out. We just had two of them, and we made do with those.
Jumpers for goalposts, alluring image, isn't it?
No expense spared.
Enduring image. Sorry,
Yes.
not alluring. That's completely the wrong circumstance.
Indeed. The multiplayer side of it, we touched very, very briefly on the 11 versus 11.
Yes.
I've not played it myself online yet, so I can't really comment as
No,
to how it actually works.
I think the server on both Xbox and PlayStation had a few issues over the initial opening weekend, because it went straight to number one in the charts, as you'd expect, and the servers didn't really cope with it, so a lot of people were having like dropouts and lag, and I didn't give it any thought. But I went on it very briefly last week, and it was a lot better. So
That's good. Something that Pro Evo could probably take note of how to do online.
yeah, I never liked Pro Evo Online.
No. One thing I do quickly want to mention is the going back to some customization options. New this year is the ability to create your own playlists. So
Audience chants as well.
yeah, you can make your own chants for your crowd. So for blues, again going back to blues, I found an audio clip on the internet of their intro music that they come onto, and also some crowd chants. So you've got Keep Right On, Shit on the Villa,
and so on.
and so on. And you can import those onto your hard drive and use the in-game options to create a playlist, where you need to save the playlist, and then you can use that playlist that has been saved as the option in the game to change your in-game crowd chants, which I think is a nice touch.
Yeah, it's a nice feature. It's probably a slightly long way of going around it.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot easier to do it, but one thing I did notice by reading on the forums is that if you are using Windows, do not burn a disk, because you need to burn the chants to disk.
Yeah.
Don't use Media Player, because weirdly, the Xbox console will not like you ripping a Media Player file, a Media Player created disk onto the console.
Worth remembering. Can't you transfer it by USB?
You might be able to.
On a memory stick.
Yeah, I haven't got mine one to hand though, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way.
I see.
So yeah, a nice touch, and I'm sure people out there have created their own massive chants that you can probably download and put onto your console now.
Stands a good chance.
Yep.
One thing, I don't know if we're going to go on to the DLC thing, but the
live
seasons.
Next thing to mention.
Live seasons are back.
Yeah.
And I think because last year they offered a free code in the actual game box.
I think it was just a free trial.
I actually got a full free season with FIFA 10.
Oh right, I think they've just got knocked it down to a free trial this time out.
Yeah. It's not. It doesn't cost a huge amount. to actually get it now. If you just want the Premier League, it's only £2, I think.
Right.
So, we've got a free stadium with FIFA 10 as well.
Oh. Yeah, you got the Bernabeu. That's FIFA 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is. I'm just checking last year because I'm sure I had a code last year for live seasons. I actually think live seasons they gave it away on the network.
Right.
If you sort of bought the game straight off and did XYZ, you got the free live season. So I got live seasons installed on my FIFA 10. But everything else, yeah. Everything else this year, I think you have to actually pay for.
Yeah. So yeah, it's available on pretty much every console.
Yeah.
Under the
It's
sun
even
at
on
the
the
moment.
PS2.
Even on the
Still.
PS2. It's right on your mobile phone, DS.
Yeah.
Obviously your PlayStation 3,
The
Xbox
Pusk.
360, and the Pusser.
Yeah.
If you're that way inclined.
Yeah.
Should we
I'm not. I'm not.
No. Is it user friendly? Should we talk about that quickly?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, it's a much more realistic interpretation of football, but at the same time, it comes back to what we've discussed in previous podcasts. So it's easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah.
Because you've got all the trick shots and the skill moves and so on. That once you've worked out how to utilise them in the game, then you're going to have a much more fluid game of football about you. Especially if you're playing online, take the time to learn these moves. You end up against a novice. You're going to have a much better time a much better chance of winning than if you don't learn all the skill moves. But at the same time, you can still play it just by using the regular sort of like pass and move sort of.
That's the sort of thing I've tried to do. I mean, I found that using the skill moves is quite difficult.
Yeah.
Because you don't really have a lot of time to be able to pull them off.
That's why the defence are on you in a second.
Yeah. But that's all about the new personality plus. So yeah, there we go. FIFA 11. I give it a thumb and a half up. I think
Yeah, likewise.
it's
Have
it's
we
good.
Have we started doing that now, using the Ebert scale?
Well,
of
I'm
scoring?
going to use it.
Okay.
I'm going to use it because I've got 2 thumbs, so
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense. I'm like the emperor in Rome.
Yeah. Although, yeah, they never actually did a thumbs down, but
No,
that's one for QI to take on.
indeed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still the best football game out there. Pro
Yeah.
Evo is still
It's catching
fluffing
up,
its lines,
but
yeah.
it's nowhere near.
nowhere
nowhere
near
near
the
FIFA.
levels of FIFA.
Yeah.
So yeah, pick it up if you're a football aficionado, or even if you just have a general interest in the game. It comes very highly recommended.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I agree.
He agrees, and so does Ant, even though he's got
What?
no
I
opinion.
weren't listening.
Just say yes.
Yeah.
There we go. See.
There we go. So there we go. Thanks very much for listening. If you've got any comments, queries, or complaints, I tell you what.
Yeah, you're on the
I'm on the
sausage
ball
roll
You,
tonight.
tonight, yeah.
have you been playing Blue Toad Murder Files recently?
Not since we did. No. You can
You
get
alliterative fool.
I am. You can get in touch with us via the website randomstote.com, or just email us info@randomstote.com, or you can check out the YouTube page. That's youtube.com/randomstote. There you can find all our video reviews with the links to the normal website and the podcasts, which what you should be listening to right now. So there you go. Except we're going now. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you in a bit.